You're watching a Siouxland News special, Ahead of the Storm.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Siouxland's Chief Meteorologist, Chad Sandwell, and thanks for joining us for a Siouxland News special, Ahead of the Storm. Tonight, the First Look Weather Team is going to give you and your family all the tools and information you need to stay safe during the upcoming severe weather season. We're going to keep you ahead of the storm. Now, if you think back to last year in terms of severe weather, it seemed like a pretty quiet year. Certainly that is true if you look at the number of tornado warnings issued in the Siouxland News viewing area. Throughout all of 2016, there were only 8 tornado warnings.
Except for the areas that were impacted by strong winds, as far as tornadoes are concerned, we had a very low year for tornado occurrence last year.
But if you consider all forms of severe weather, it turns out that 2016 indeed was a fairly active year. In the Siouxland News viewing area, there were 204 severe thunderstorm warnings, which, as you will learn, can do just as much damage as an actual tornado. Well, between Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota, those 3 states combined to average 124 tornadoes per year. That's a lot of tornadoes and doesn't even take into account the several hundred other forms of severe weather, such as wind and hail. The one thing that we want to emphasize is that while there is a tornado season here in Siouxland, tornadoes can happen just about any time of year.
Well, we're in our severe weather season right now. So really, we go through, let's say, the middle part of March through April, May, June. That's really our tornado season, and then it kind of tapers off into more of a wind and hail threat in July and August, and then more of a heavy rain threat as we go into the fall. But typically, our most severe weather months are going to be April, May, and June.
Well, April in Iowa, by definition, is the early part of tornado season. And on April 9th, 2011, the season was just getting started. But just after 7 o'clock that Saturday night, Mapleton, Iowa was caught in the middle of it. Thankfully, there was a full 10-minute warning as sirens alerted residents to take cover, or it could have been much worse.
We saw debris flying around, and we looked over, and the tornado was coming down the road right here. And then it came over, and it went through my garage right there, and then it came down, hit the house. Not too bad on the house, but then it came over here to the school and tore off the roof.
That night, 75% of Mapleton sustained severe damage from what was determined to be an EF3 tornado. That tornado was on the ground for 3.5 miles, finally lifting 1 mile north of town. At its largest point, the tornado was 3/4 of a mile wide as it entered the southwest corner of Mapleton. Residents were shocked.
We went on back in the room, the living room, and here we saw approximately 4 foot or longer of my neighbor's chimney laying in my room, my front room. We didn't know what to think.
Yeah, I think that's a big tornado, maybe.
The large tornado wasn't around long, but the damage that the town of Mapleton suffered was immense. The pictures of the devastation don't really paint the complete picture. The cleanup efforts, aided by volunteers from all over, lasted for weeks. Amazingly enough, there were only a few injuries in this storm, the worst being a broken leg. Later that same evening, a tornado ripped through the small town of Early, Iowa. That tornado wasn't as large as the twister that roared through Mapleton, but still did damage worthy of an EF2 storm. April 9th, 2011, a reminder that tornado season can start early, but that doesn't necessarily mean the storms will be small or won't pack a punch. Now, just as you might think that April is early for tornadoes, you probably thought that tornado season was over by the time the calendar reached October. And in most cases, you would be right. But October 4th, 2013, Mother Nature had a different idea. Here's meteorologist Lynette Grant.
Holy cow!
Listen to it, man.
Winds at 170 miles per hour. Over 1.25 miles wide. With a tornado like this moving across northeast Nebraska, one would think it's summertime in Siouxland. Here's a reality check. Tornadoes occur any time in the year. Wayne, Nebraska saw that harsh reality on October 4th, 2013, when an EF4 tornado tore across town.
I didn't even notice the tree was in half, and then I turned around and realized I didn't have a house. And that was hard for my kids.
This tornado first formed 8 miles southwest of the city just after 5 o'clock p.m., damaging crops and trees. But it's the damage across the southeast part of the city that most recall. The most significant of that damage occurred in the industrial park area of town. At Grosenberg Implement, many metal structures were flattened and mangled. Farm equipment was heavily destroyed. The Wayne County Municipal Airport was next.
Something just didn't look right. And the four-place hangar that was right next to us here was totally gone. It looked just like part of the tarmac out there.
2 hangars flattened. Airplanes tumbled and ripped apart. The tornado even did damage to the weather recording station on site. The 19-mile path of damage left 15 people injured, but miraculously, not one death occurred. This was not the only tornado to occur on this early October day. 14 others occurred throughout Siouxland, and all this came at a time where many don't think about severe weather.
Well, we know that April is early and October is late. Meteorologist Kat Taylor takes you to Stanton County, Nebraska, where in the heart of the 2014 tornado season, Mother Nature produced a rare double feature. So we've recently had tornadoes early in the season and very late in the season. June in Siouxland is the apex of tornado season, and the tornadoes on a June afternoon in 2014 provided images that many won't soon forget. Here's meteorologist Kat Taylor.
June 16, 2014 was a particularly busy day for severe weather in northeast Nebraska. That day, a tornado family, or series of tornadoes spawned by the same thunderstorm, ripped through the area. The first tornado of the day was a powerful EF4 tornado that passed just to the west of Stanton, Nebraska, completely destroying several farms. Everyone hit was fine.
But we're okay, and we're thankful that our kids are safe because they left the house just minutes before it hit. And that was really all that I cared about. So I just really feel for the people, especially over in Pilger, who lost their lives and who are seriously injured. And we're fine. We'll be okay.
The second tornado was the most intense twister of the day, reaching violent EF4 tornado intensity. Fire Chief Corey Kelmus says the tornado sirens weren't going off as he watched the tornado approach town.
I was like, oh man, this is going to hit. It's going to hit Pilger, or it's going to go right north of Pilger, just the way it was heading towards the town. So I said, regardless, I need to go and start the fire siren, or the tornado siren that day, because it was not going off when I left Pilger just 10 seconds ago.
Oh, no! Please! I hope they're taking shelter. Please be taking shelter. Oh, no.
He was able to sound the sirens and warn residents, but the tornado cut through the heart of Pilger and destroyed numerous homes and businesses, killing one person and injuring many others. If you look carefully, you can see another tornado forming as the storm leaves town.
Twin tornadoes. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
What made the day so fascinating to meteorologists was the development of twin tornadoes. While twins are very rare, they have happened before. This situation was extremely unusual because both tornadoes were of considerable size and strength. The other twin did not hit Pilger, but was also rated EF4, destroyed 3 farmsteads, and killed 1 person before it dissipated. The last tornado was the 4th EF4 of the day and formed north of Wakefield, doing damage to another 3 farms.
Oh no, it's hitting that farm.
The next day spawned several tornadoes as well, including a violent EF3 near Coleridge, Nebraska, that damaged several homes.
June 16th and 17th produced some of the biggest tornadoes that we've seen here in Siouxland. Just like Mapleton in April and Wayne in October, these monster storms can develop in a very short amount of time. That's why knowing what to do and where to go is crucial in being ready for the threats that come with severe weather. Tornadoes get all the attention when it comes to severe weather, but thunderstorms have other characteristics that can be just as dangerous. We'll tell you what those are coming up after the break. Welcome back to Ahead of the Storm. The month of May puts us right in the middle of severe weather season here in Siouxland. Of course, as we learned earlier, severe weather can happen at just about any time of the year. So far in 2017, we've already had a little bit of severe weather, a few watches and a few warnings. But do you actually know what makes a watch different from a warning? Do you know what it takes to make a storm severe? Meteorologist Kat Taylor joins us now in the Weather Center to remind us of some need-to-know basic information.
Most people wouldn't think so, but knowing the difference between a watch and a warning can end up saving the lives of you and your loved ones. So let's talk about a watch first. In its most basic terms, a severe thunderstorm or tornado watch is issued when the conditions are possible for severe weather to develop. Watches are typically issued for several hours at a time and can cover a pretty large area, even multiple states. This is your cue to make sure that you and your family know what to do and where to go before the event starts. A severe thunderstorm or tornado warning is issued when a severe storm or tornado is about to occur. The time for preparation is over and the time to take shelter is now. In the case of a tornado warning, a possible tornado has been detected on radar or confirmed by a storm spotter. Again, knowing the difference can be the difference between life and death. So the next question is, what exactly makes a storm severe? The answer is really fairly simple, but a lot of folks still don't understand certain criteria has to be met before a storm can be classified as severe. It doesn't have to have them all, just one condition has to make the cut. The first one is pretty obvious. If a tornado develops, that makes the storm severe. The next two are what meteorologists are looking for when they issue severe thunderstorm warnings. If a thunderstorm has winds 59 miles per hour or greater, then that storm is considered to be severe. Straight line winds by themselves can cause a lot of damage during thunderstorms. The other thing they look for is hail at least 1 inch in diameter or larger. We have already had some experience with this one back in April. Severe thunderstorms, of course, can also come with heavy rains and a lot of lightning, but these two ingredients by themselves do not make a storm severe. To talk about some of the other hazards that can be associated with thunderstorms, here's meteorologist Lynette Grant. Lynette?
Thanks, Kat. Severe thunderstorms and tornadoes aren't the only things you need to watch out for. Lightning, flooding, and thunderstorm wind gusts can be just as dangerous and just as damaging. Now, wind causes a majority of the damage from thunderstorms, and here in Siouxland, we've seen our fair share of damage from a phenomena called straight-line winds. These winds are often associated with strong to severe thunderstorms, but can do just as much damage as a small tornado. Now, as we said, Siouxland has seen its fair share of straight-line wind events from just a couple years ago in Sergeant Bluff or last year with thunderstorms near Spirit Lake, Arnold's Park, and Climbing Hill. Wind has enough strength on its own to knock down power lines and trees and even push large vehicles off the road. Now let's talk lightning. Lightning within a storm does not make a storm severe, but that does not mean that lightning isn't dangerous. On its own, lightning causes an average between 55 and 60 deaths and more than 400 injuries each year. These fatalities are most common during summer afternoon and evenings. Lightning typically strikes the tallest object in the area, and it also costs more than $1 billion in insured losses each year. Even if you cannot see lightning, but you can hear thunder, you are still close enough to be struck by lightning. So remember, when thunder roars, go indoors. And once the rains come, flash flooding most definitely can follow suit. A flash flood usually occurs within a few hours of very heavy rainfall or a sudden increase of water from an ice jam or levee failure. Floods are the #1 cause of deaths associated with thunderstorms, totaling more than 90 deaths each year. More than half of these fatalities happen after people drive into the floodwaters. The best safety measure when it comes to floods: turn around, don't drown. Now, regardless of the type of weather expected in your area, it's always a good idea to have a plan. It is much better to be proactive and over-prepared rather than reactive and potentially fighting for your life.
People here in Siouxland lead active lives, and not everyone is going to be home on the couch when severe weather comes calling. We'll take a look at some popular places around town and let you know where you can go to stay safe.
You're watching a Siouxland News special, Ahead of the Storm.
Welcome back, everyone, to our Siouxland News special, Ahead of the Storm. One word is really all it takes to help potentially save your life when it comes to taking shelter from a dangerous storm. That word is duck. You will want to get down to the lowest level of your shelter or building. Get under something sturdy to protect yourself from flying debris. Cover your head. It might not even be a bad idea to keep a bicycle helmet nearby. And finally, keep in your shelter until the storm has passed. Knowing where to go as a storm approaches is very important. Here's meteorologist Kat Taylor with some tips on where to go if you're at home as the storm strikes.
A tornado warning has been issued. But do you know where to go? Let's figure out where your safe place is, whether you live in a residential home, an apartment, or a mobile home.
Your safe place in a residential home needs to be on the lowest floor of the structure, usually a basement or a cellar if you have one. Now, the key to finding your safe place is staying away from windows. So you're looking for a small bathroom or closet that you can take shelter in, one like this one, which is an unfinished storage closet with a door, one wall cement, is perfect for a tornado shelter. Finding your safe place in an apartment building is a little bit more difficult than other structures, mainly because there's multiple floors. Now, if you are living on the first floor, you can shelter in your own apartment, but if you're in one of the upper floors, you need to make friends with somebody on the first floor and shelter there. The next step in finding your safe place is finding the interiormost part of the building. In this case, in this apartment, it's actually the hallway outside the apartment. So you don't want to shelter in the hallway. You want to actually find a small room to shelter in. And in this case, in this apartment, you actually have two options. Now let's move to the bathroom. This is a small bathroom. You've got protection on the interior of the building. The problem is this is actually slightly larger than the other option. It's also one less wall between you and the outside. So we're going to move back here to this laundry closet where it's slightly smaller, so you get the added protection of those walls. When you have a smaller room, you can actually get more protection from falling debris. So that's why we're looking at this laundry closet. You also get an extra wall between you and the outside, which gives you more protection when it comes to a tornado. Unfortunately, a mobile home is no place to be during a tornado. They're meant to be mobile and therefore light, which means even a weak tornado or straight line winds can completely destroy them. If you're in a mobile home when a tornado warning is issued, you need to get out. You need to get to the nearest sturdy structure. A friend or relative's permanent home is a great place. Make sure you can get in 24 hours a day and time out the route to your shelter location so you'll be certain that you can get there in time. If you don't have enough time to get to your shelter, you need to get out of your mobile home and seek shelter in a ditch or low-lying area. All in all, once you have the best possible place to shelter in, review your plan with your family so everyone knows what to do and where to go during a tornado. I'm meteorologist Kat Taylor, Siouxland News.
With spring changing to summer, the weather often draws people outdoors to enjoy all the sunshine. But with that sunshine also comes the threat of severe weather. Do you know what to do when severe weather strikes? Are you prepared? Follow me along as I show you what to do if you're caught outside here in Siouxland with no place to go. The first stop on our list is Scenic Park in South Sioux City, a vibrant place for outdoor play. But what draws many to the area is the camping. Summer is the busiest time for the campsite, which coincides with an active time for severe weather. Unfortunately, your camper is not a safe place to be during severe weather. But where are the safe places in that park?
Some of them go home, some of them stay here, some of them come to the office, some of them go to the bathhouses. So they all do different things, but they all have the instruction or know what to do.
The park office does have a storm shelter that campers can use, and the bathhouses are also designated as safe areas. So when these park sirens go off, it's time to take action. While camping is a fun activity for some here in Siouxland, it doesn't suit everyone's needs. Let's take a little drive up the river and visit a local hotel. Hotels, one of the more common lodging sites for vacationing families and business travelers. Most hotel guests are familiar with the escape routes for a fire emergency due to the floor plan posted on the room doors. But what if a tornado were making its way toward the building and you were not on the first level? The preparation actually begins when a watch is issued. That's when hotel staff gather information and listen, ready to take action once the warning is issued.
Once a warning is issued, we have the staff go to our safe location, which is the first floor hallway. Once they're there, they have a cordless phone and a downtime report, which is a report that we use when our computers aren't working, and they're able to call the guest rooms and notify our guests of what's going on from the safety of the hallway.
Now it's time to enjoy some of what Sioux City has to offer. For those of you who are older, let's go to the Hard Rock. The Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Sioux City offers a wide variety of entertainment to its guests. Anything from its multiple dining options, slots and table games, and even concerts. A large venue drawing large numbers of people, with the majority not knowing where to go during severe weather.
So we try to get everybody off the casino floor, or at least ask them to leave the casino floor, which is just all new addition, and push them into the buffet areas, pushing them into the back. And then we've got a route that comes past the employee buffet, or the World Tour buffet, and we get them into the back of the house areas here, which is all in this, nice brick and just really secure area.
The same goes for those attending concerts at Battery Park. Get inside and get into those safe areas, away from the danger of the weather.
We're almost done with our visit to Sioux City, but we want to show you one more place, the Tyson Events Center.
Hosting multiple events like sports and concerts, the Tyson Events Center has the capacity to hold anywhere from 6,000 to 10,000 people within the arena. This can create quite a problem, not if, but when severe weather strikes Sioux City. The security staff at Tyson Events Center train for this situation and know what to do in the event of bad weather.
We try to get as many concrete walls between the public and the danger, and the dangers outside, which is either the wind or the tornado or the severe weather is on the outside. So we use our west maintenance hallway, we use our meeting rooms, the box office, our bathrooms. We use the Musketeer dressing room and all of our backstage dressing room areas.
While we haven't been able to take you to every place in Siouxland, that message is still the same. Make sure you're in the lowest location of the building with as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Having that plan in the back of your head allows you to enjoy what Sioux City has to offer while also staying safe during severe weather season.
We hear them tested all the time, usually on the first Monday of the month. Outdoor warning sirens are a key way communities can communicate the danger of impending storms. Meteorologist Lynette Grant will take a closer look at these devices after the break.
What goes through your mind when you hear this sound? Is it fear? Or do you shrug it off thinking, tornadoes never happen here, I'll be fine? Despite the quiet severe weather season in the past few years, we've learned that tornadoes do occur here. And these sirens are just one of multiple ways you can be alerted.
When they hear the outdoor warning sirens go off, we want people to take protective action immediately, not run outside and looking for it. We want them to get to their place of safety as soon as possible. So whether or not they hear the sirens being activated or they hear the warning being broadcast on radio or TV, take action immediately.
But one thing that is important to know is that these sirens are meant for outdoor use, meaning they are not meant to be heard inside your home.
So you may not hear this outdoor warning siren if you're inside your house, and that's why you need to have another method to receive that warning information.
Because of this, it is essential to have more than one way to receive alerts about severe storms and tornadoes. Sirens are just one way, but other ways include a weather radio and an app. Now you may think that these sirens warn of impending tornadoes. They do more than just that. Specifically in Woodbury County, the sirens are sounded during all tornado warnings, as well as severe thunderstorms where straight-line winds are imminent. The reason for this is because emergency managers have found that the damage from straight-line winds can be compared to that of a tornado. But remember, whenever you hear this sound, it's time to take action and take shelter in your safe space.
Now, if you have any questions about the warning sirens in your county, it's a good idea to contact your emergency manager. They'll be able to give you the criteria that they use to sound the outdoor warning sirens. And after the break, we'll wrap up our Siouxland News Special by giving you a couple of easy-to-use tools that you can use during not only severe weather, but all year long. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We've given you some valuable information to help keep you and your family safe during severe weather season, but we're not done just yet. There's still a couple of services that we offer that will help keep you on top of changing weather conditions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter where you are. The first is our First Look weather app. You can download it for free on either your Android or Apple devices. You can stay ahead of the changing weather with the hourly forecast, or you can track storms anywhere in the country using the interactive radar. The other service is our free text messaging. Just go to our website, siouxlandnews.com, and click on the Weather tab. Click on the text messages and sign up for the service. You will receive a text message anytime a warning pops up in your area. And again, both of these services will help you stay ahead of the changing weather conditions during this severe weather season. So on behalf of meteorologists Kat Taylor and Lynette Grant, I want to thank you for watching our Siouxland News Special, and always remember, we will keep you ahead of the storm. Good night.